All right, next section of the test is adding and subtracting. So for this one, it says evaluate the expression -2 minus -7. So if we see the subtraction sign, remember we do KCO, which is going to make this -2 plus 7. Now we go back to that same signs, add them up, or different signs subtract. These are different signs, so I'm going to subtract them. 7 minus 2, which makes it 5. And I have more positives than negatives, so my answer is going to be +5. Number 9 says, evaluate the expression -14 plus 7 minus 5. Since they're both adding and subtracting, I just move left to right. And I'm just going to do these two numbers first. So since I see an addition sign, then I just use same signs, add them up, or different signs, subtract. They're different signs, so I'm going to subtract them. 14 minus 7, and that's going to give me 7. And I have more negatives, so my answer is going to be negative. And then I'm going to do -5. Now that I see a subtraction sign, I'm going to do KCO, which makes it -7 plus -5. Now I have the same signs, so I'm going to add these up, which gives me 12. And since they're both negative, I know my answer has to be negative. Number 10, the submarine was situated 450 feet below sea level. If it descends 300 feet, what integer best represents its new position? So 450 feet below sea level means it is at -450 feet. And it's descending 300 feet, so we are going down 300 more feet. So here's our math problem. KCO, because we see that subtraction sign, -450 plus -300. Same signs, I add them up. So I'm going to do 450 plus 300, which gives me 750. And since they are both negative, my answer has to be negative. Also, what integer best represents its new position? I know the submarine is still underwater, so it has to be negative. Okay? All right, which number line correctly models -4 plus 3? Remember, our first number always has to start at 0. So here we are at 0. And we're going to -4. So this one goes to -4, but once we get to -4, then we have to start from -4. We can't go back to 0, so this one will not work. This one we are going to -4, which is true, and then we are adding 3 to it. But if we're adding, then we are going back towards the positives. We are not moving backwards. This one is moving 3 spaces, but it's moving -3. This one has us starting at 0, and we're going to 1 to -3. We don't want -3, we want -4, which leaves our last one. We're starting at 0, and we're moving 1, 2, 3, 4 to the negatives. And then since we're adding 3, we're moving back to the positive side, or back to the right, 1, 2, 3 spaces, which gives us our answer there. All right, for the multiplying and dividing. This says -2 times 8 divided by -4. Since it's both multiplying and dividing, we're just going to start with the first one that it's given us, and we're going to use our integer triangle. So we're going to do -2 times 8, and we have a negative, and we have a positive, so my answer has to be negative here. So then I just do 2 times 8, which is 16. But I'm not done yet because I still have my divided by -4. I'm going to draw another integer triangle for my new problem. And since I have a negative here and a negative here, my answer has to be positive. So it's going to be a positive number, and then I do 16 divided by 4, which is just 4. So my answer is B. Number 13, -2 minus 6 divided by -4. So this is using the PEMDAS. We have the parentheses that comes first, so that's why we are doing this one first. We see that subtraction sign, so we're doing KCO, and we get -2 plus -6. And I'm just going to rewrite everything else that goes with it. So now we have same signs. We add them up. So this is -8 divided by -4. Now I'm going to use that triangle because I'm dividing and I have a -8 and a -4, so I know my answer has to be positive. 8 divided by 4 equals 2. And then number 14, Haley has a beginning balance of $130 and withdraws $90 a week for 2 weeks and then deposits $70. What is Haley's ending balance? There's a couple ways that we could do this. I want to kind of categorize them between my positives and my negatives, or my add-ins and my takeaways. So my beginning balance is positive 130. I know I have that much money. Then she withdraws $90 a week for 2 weeks. So I know she takes away $90 once and she takes away $90 again. And then I know she deposits $70, and depositing is putting that money back in, so I'm going to go here. So first I want to see how much money we have in our positives, and then I'm going to see how much money we have in our negatives, and we can combine those. So if I'm finding the positives, I'm just adding these up. And this is going to be $200 there. For my negatives, I know this is going to be $180. She took out $180 total because I'm adding both of those together. So she took that out. If she's taking that out, then I'm just going to go ahead and make that a negative. Now, we could do 200 plus -180. And since those are the same signs, they're different signs, we subtract them. 200 minus 180, which gives us 20. And since our positive number is bigger, we know our answer has to be positive. So this would be our positive 20. You could also start with this 130 and take out $90 twice, but then that's going to get you into the negatives. So that's why I like to combine all my positives, combine my negatives, and then work to figure out the answer at the end. Number 15, which model correctly represents 4 times -3? So if you looked in your notes, you know this 4 represents the groups, and the -3 is how many are in each group. Number in each group. There's only one that has 4 groups, which is this one right here. We just need to make sure that there are -3 in each group. So we know that the dark ones are negative. We've got 3 in each group, so we know that C has to be our answer. You could also solve this and see which one matches. 4 times -3, use our triangle. We have a positive and a negative, so we know our answer has to be negative. And then 4 times 3 is 12. So I want to know which one of these has -12. This is the only other one that has 12 in it, but since they are all white, we know those are positive, so that one would not work.